Hello and welcome. I'm Pallavi Sharma and you're watching BizWorld Weekly, a show where we bring you the top stories of the week from across the world. Let's start with the market check. Indian equity indices ended higher for the third consecutive session on July 31st. At close, Sensex was up 0.21% at 78,094.64 points and Nifty was up 0.27% at 24,383.6 points. Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Finserv, Jio Financial, M&M and Adani Ports were the top gainers on Nifty, while TCS, Eternal, Max Healthcare, Infosys and Wipro were the top losers. Sectoral performance remained broadly positive, with Nifty Media emerging the top gainer, rising 2%, followed by Nifty Auto, Nifty Oil and Gas, Nifty Energy, Nifty Pharma, Nifty Infrastructure and Nifty PSU Bank. On the downside, Nifty IT declined 1.5%, making it the worst performing sector. Indian rupee ended 29 paise higher at 95.39 per dollar on July 31st. We have heard of de-dollarization, we have heard internationalization of currencies, but for the Indian rupee, that dream of becoming a global currency looked far from reality a few years ago. But now Russia reportedly wants to pay Bangladesh in Indian rupees instead of dollars. The move isn't just about trade. It's about bypassing US sanctions, reducing dependence on US dollar, and it could unexpectedly put India's currency at the center of global commerce. So what's happening? According to Bangladeshi media reports, Russia wants Bangladesh to settle bilateral trade using the Indian rupee instead of the US dollar. It's more important to note that this has not been officially announced by either Russia or Bangladesh. At this stage, it is a proposal that is expected to come up during bilateral talks later this year, as per some reports. So why is Russia making this proposal? Ever since the Ukraine war began, several major Russian banks have been cut off from the global financial system due to Western sanctions. This has made dollar-based international payments more difficult for Moscow. As a result, Russia has increasingly been looking for alternative currencies and payment mechanisms to keep trade flowing with friendly countries like India, Bangladesh, China, and more. According to reports, Russia believes that Indian rupee could offer a practical solution, not just because of the decades-old friendship with India, but also because Russia is sitting on a pile of Indian currency, as it had started oil trade with India in Indian rupees. So here's how it will work. Bangladesh would pay for Russian imports in Indian rupees instead of US dollars. Since Russia already earns large amounts of rupees through its trade with India, especially from crude oil exports, it can use those rupees to settle transactions with Bangladesh instead of converting everything into dollars. That would reduce dependence on the US financial system and make payments easier despite sanctions. The proposal also builds on an existing trend. Bangladesh already uses the Indian rupee as a part of its trade with India. In fact, the two countries officially launched rupee-based trade settlements in 2023 to reduce pressure on dollar reserves and lower transaction costs. Russia now appears to be exploring whether that same currency can be used in its trade with Bangladesh as well. So what does this mean for India now? If such an arrangement actually goes through, it would be another boost for internationalization of the Indian rupee. Instead of being used only in trade involving India, the rupee would begin acting as a settlement currency between two other countries, Russia and Bangladesh. That's a significant step because reserve and trade currencies become stronger when more countries are willing to use them beyond bilateral trade. For India, this could increase global demand for the rupee, strengthen its position in the regional trade, and also reduce dependence on the US dollar in cross-border transactions, and also support New Delhi's long-term ambition of making rupee a more widely accepted international currency. For decades, India's currency notes have looked and felt the same. But that could change. The government has given the green light for the RBI to begin field trials of polymer 10 and 20 rupee notes, a move that could make Indian currency more durable, cleaner, and harder to counterfeit. So why is RBI considering this shift now, and does it mean paper notes are on their way out? Our next report tells you.
The Indian government has approved the Reserve Bank of India's proposal to begin field trials of polymer 10 and 20 rupee notes. But what exactly are polymer notes? The RBI has received the centre's approval to print 2 billion polymer notes, that's 1 billion 10 rupee notes and 1 billion 20 rupee notes, for field testing. However, this is only a trial. Your current paper notes are not being withdrawn, and there is no plan to replace all paper currency at this stage. Both types of notes will circulate together while the RBI studies how the new notes perform.
So what makes polymer notes special? Unlike traditional cotton-based paper notes, polymer notes are made from a durable plastic-like material. They're far more resistant to water, dirt, folding, and everyday wear and tear.
They also make counterfeiting much harder because they can include advanced security features like transparent windows and special embedded elements. The RBI says international experience shows polymer notes last 2.5 to 4 times longer than paper notes. While they cost around 20 to 24% more to produce initially, their longer lifespan can significantly reduce printing, transportation, and disposal costs over time. During the trial, these notes will be tested across different weather conditions, from heat and humidity to bust and heavy handling. The RBI will also gather public feedback before deciding whether polymer notes should be rolled out on a larger scale.
If you're wondering whether this will affect India's booming UPI ecosystem,
the answer is no, for now. The government says cash and digital payments are complementary, and any impact can only be assessed if polymer notes are eventually introduced on a regular basis.
Imagine spending over 1 crore of rupees on degree from an American university, only to be told that if you want to work there after graduation, you'll have to pay another $100,000. That's nearly 87 lakh rupees. It sounds unbelievable. That's exactly the proposal that the Trump administration is reportedly considering. If implemented, it could completely change the American dream for hundreds and thousands of international students, especially Indians. So what exactly is this new proposal? According to reports, the Trump administration is considering imposing a $100,000 fee on international students who want to work in the United States after their graduation through the Optional Practical Training or OPT program. Now, this proposal is still under discussion and hasn't been finalized yet, but it is already triggering concern among students, universities, and employers. So what is OPT exactly? OPT allows international students on F1 visas to work in the United States in a job related to their degree after graduation. Most students can work for up to 1 year, while graduates in STEM fields can extend it to 3 years. For many, OPT is a bridge between studying in America and securing an H-1B work visa. Without it, thousands of students would have to leave the country immediately after completing their education. And that's why this proposal is a very big deal. A $100,000 fee, or around 87 lakh rupees, would make post-study work almost impossible for many international students. The Trump administration is reportedly still debating who would pay that amount, the student, the employer, or even the university. But regardless of who bears that cost, experts believe that it would significantly reduce the appeal of studying in the United States of America. The impact on Indian students could be massive. India is currently the largest source of international students in the United States, with more than 3.6 lakh Indian students enrolled. A large population or proportion of them pursue engineering, computer science, and other STEM courses, where OPT is often the first step towards building a career in America. If that proposal goes ahead, many Indian students could rethink whether the US is worth the investment or choose countries like Canada, the UK, or Australia instead. The proposal also comes after US court blocked the administration's attempt to impose a similar $100,000 fee on H-1B visas. Reports suggest that the administration is now looking at OPT as another way to tighten legal immigration while encouraging companies to hire more American workers. Universities are also worried because international students continue to contribute billions of dollars to US economy through tuition fee and living expenses. Many universities depend heavily on foreign enrollments, and a policy like this would discourage talented students from choosing the United States altogether. Employers in technology, finance, and engineering could also struggle to recruit skilled graduates who usually enter the workforce through OPT. For now, this is only a proposal, not an official rule. But if it becomes a reality, it could be one of the biggest changes to US immigration policy for international students in years. So now the question is whether the American dream is even worth it anymore with immigration crackdowns and tightening visa restrictions. Donald Trump is doubling down on one of his most controversial economic policies, tariffs. Despite warnings from economists and businesses that higher import taxes could fuel inflation and slow growth, Trump insists that exact opposite will happen. He says that tariffs won't hurt the US economy. Instead, they will attract hundreds of billions of dollars in new investments and bring manufacturing back to America. So is Trump's tariff gamble actually working, or could it backfire on the world's largest economy? Our next report breaks it down for you.
US President Donald Trump has made a bold claim. His new tariffs won't hurt the American economy. Instead, he says they'll bring hundreds of billions of dollars in investments into the United States. But what's behind this claim? And is there any evidence to support it? Speaking about his trade policy, Trump argued that tariffs are encouraging companies to manufacture inside the US instead of importing goods. According to him, businesses are choosing to build factories in America to avoid paying import duties, creating jobs and boosting domestic investment. He even claimed that the US is already witnessing hundreds of billions of dollars in fresh investments because of these tariffs. To back his argument, Trump pointed to major investment announcements by companies such as General Motors, Toyota, and several semiconductor manufacturers. His message is simple. If companies want access to the American market without paying tariffs, they should produce inside the United States. Trump also dismissed concerns that tariffs would damage the US economy or fuel inflation. Instead, he described them as a tool to strengthen American manufacturing, reduce dependence on imports, and generate more revenue for the government. However, economists remain divided. While tariffs can encourage some companies to shift production, critics argue that import duties often increase costs for businesses and consumers because imported goods become more expensive. The overall impact depends on whether new investments and jobs are large enough to offset those higher costs. Trump is betting that tariffs will reshape America's economy by bringing factories, investments, and jobs back home. Whether that strategy delivers long-term economic gains or ends up increasing costs for consumers is something that will become clearer only over the coming months. But one thing is certain, tariffs have once again become the centerpiece of America's economic strategy, and the world will be watching the results closely.
For years, Dubai has been one of the most popular destinations for Pakistani traders and entrepreneurs. But now, something unusual appears to be happening. Business owners say that their visa applications are being rejected without explanation. No official announcement, no written policy, just one rejection after another. Has the UAE quietly imposed a visa ban on Pakistani businesses? Let's explore. A growing number of Pakistani businessmen are claiming that obtaining UAE visas have become increasingly difficult. According to reports, applications are being rejected even when all documents are in order, leading to speculation that the UAE has introduced an unofficial or silent visa ban on Pakistani nationals involved in business. What's interesting is that the UAE has not officially announced any such ban. There is no public government notification or formal policy. Yet, immigration consultants, business owners, and travel agents say that visa approvals have slowed dramatically, especially for first-time applicants and smaller entrepreneurs. So, why is this happening to Pakistani nationals? According to various media reports, UAE authorities have raised concerns over several issues linked to Pakistani nationals. These include cases of visa overstays, illegal employment, the use of forged documents, and involvement in criminal activities by small section of visitors. The UAE has also reportedly expressed concerns over individuals misusing tourist visas for work instead of entering through proper employment channels. Another factor is security. The UAE has significantly tightened its immigration screening in recent years as it tries to strengthen border controls and maintain its image as one of the world's safest business hubs. As a result, visa applications from countries considered high risk are now facing more stricter scrutiny. The issue is that it's becoming very serious, and Pakistan's government has also acknowledged it. Pakistani officials have reportedly held discussions with their UAE counterparts to understand the reasons behind the unusually high rejection rates and explore possible solutions. The timing couldn't be worse for Pakistan though. The UAE is one of Pakistan's biggest economic partners. Millions of Pakistanis live and work there, sending billions of dollars back home every year through remittances. Thousands of Pakistani businesses also depend on Dubai as a gateway for trade with the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. If entrepreneurs continue facing visa hurdles, it could affect business expansion, investment opportunities, and commercial ties between the two countries. However, it is also important to remember that this is not officially declared blanket visa ban. Many Pakistanis still are receiving visas, particularly those with established businesses, valid employment offers, or strong travel histories. The concern is that approvals have become far more selective and unpredictable than before. Whether this is simply tighter screening or an undeclared visa crackdown, one thing is certain. It is already beginning to impact one of Pakistan's most important overseas business relationships. Is Elon Musk's biggest AI bet worth zero? It sounds shocking, but that's exactly what Morgan Stanley says could happen if SpaceX's stock falls to $100 a share. According to the investment bank, the recent sell-off has become so severe that investors are effectively assigning no value to the company's AI business. But why is Wall Street suddenly questioning one of Elon Musk's biggest growth stories? Our next report explains.
What if someone told you that in just 10 years, money could become almost meaningless, that you may not need to work to earn a living, because AI and robots will do almost everything for you? It sounds like science fiction, but this is exactly what the world's richest man is now predicting. In a recent interview with The Economist, Elon Musk made one of his boldest predictions yet. He said, "Money won't matter in 2036. According to him, artificial intelligence and humanoid robots will become so productive that they will create an age of abundance where goods and services are available in such massive quantities that the traditional role of money will diminish." He argued that if AI can produce more food, housing, transport, entertainment, and other essentials than humans could ever consume, then money itself becomes far less important. Musk even suggested that deflation, not inflation, could become the bigger economic challenge, because the supply of goods and services would grow faster than the money supply. This isn't the first time Musk has spoken about such a future. Earlier this year, he said saving for retirement could become irrelevant within the next 10 to 20 years. His advice was simple. Don't stress too much about retirement savings, because if AI, robotics, and energy technologies evolve as he expects, traditional financial planning may no longer matter. He also said that work itself could become optional. Humans may still choose to work, but not because they need a paycheck to survive. AI systems and robots could perform nearly every economic task, creating what he calls incredible abundance for all. However, he admits there's one major question. If machines do everything, what gives people purpose? He believes the biggest challenge may not be economic, but psychological, finding meaning in a world where human labor is no longer essential. But what does this mean for India? For a country where millions enter the workforce every year, Musk's vision raises difficult questions. AI is already transforming software development, customer support, finance, manufacturing, and logistics. While new opportunities will emerge in AI development, robotics, data, and creative industries, many routine jobs could be automated.
Experts say the biggest advantage will belong to those who learn to work with AI rather than compete against it. Countries like India will need massive investments in digital skills and reskilling to prepare workers for this transition. So what do you think? Will money be irrelevant?
In the age of artificial intelligence, we are not just competing with humans alone to climb the corporate ladder. It's also machines. And according to Goldman Sachs, some of the most popular white-collar jobs are now among the most vulnerable. But before you panic, here's a twist. AI may not eliminate most jobs, it could completely change them. Goldman Sachs has released a new report on how generative AI is expected to reshape the workspace, and the findings are both alarming and reassuring. Let's start with India. The report estimates that generative AI could replace 8 to 12% of India's non-farm jobs. But that's only one side of the story. A much larger share, 42 to 48% of jobs, is expected to be complemented by AI. In other words, AI won't replace these workers. Instead, it will help them become more productive by taking over repetitive tasks while humans focus on decision making, creativity, and problem solving. So, which jobs are at risk? Well, according to Goldman Sachs, occupations involving repetitive digital tasks face the highest substitution risk. These include computer programmers, accountants and auditors, legal and administrative assistants, customer service representatives, telemarketers, proofreaders, copy editors, and credit analysts. Now, these roles involve structured, text-heavy work that today's AI models are becoming increasingly good at handling. On the other hand, jobs requiring physical skills, human judgment, or high-stakes decision-making are more safer. Roles in healthcare, education, construction, manufacturing, and other physically intensive sectors are expected to see AI as a tool rather than a replacement. Knowledge-driven industries like finance, media, and professional services could also benefit slightly from higher productivity instead of mass layoffs. The report also predicts that AI could automate 9 to 17% of tasks currently performed by India's non-agricultural workforce, depending on how capable future AI systems become. And if adoption accelerates, India's annual labor productivity growth could increase by around 0.4 percentage points over the next decade, although that will require major investments in digital infrastructure, including data centers and computing power. Interestingly, Goldman Sachs believes that fears of AI-driven job apocalypse are exaggerated. The firm argues that technological revolutions have historically eliminated some jobs while creating entirely new roles too. Their economists expect biggest impact to be a reallocation of labor where workers move into new roles instead of disappearing from the workforce altogether. The transition may be painful for some sectors, especially entry-level white-collar jobs, but over time, AI is expected to create more opportunities as well. So the real challenge now is not AI stealing your job. It's whether your job will evolve faster than your skills. And it looks like the winners of AI era may not be the people who compete against AI, but those who learn to work alongside it. What if just 10 years from now, your salary, your savings, even money itself stops mattering? It sounds like science fiction, but that's exactly the future Elon Musk is predicting. According to Musk, artificial intelligence and humanoid robots will make goods and services so abundant by 2036 that money could lose much of its importance. It's a bold claim that's reignited the debate over AI, jobs, and the future of global economy. So is this a realistic glimpse into the future or just another one of Musk's ambitious predictions? Our next report tells you.
What if I told you that if SpaceX's stock falls to just $100 per share, the market would be valuing Elon Musk's AI business at $0? Yes, zero, according to Morgan Stanley. So why is Wall Street making such a shocking claim? SpaceX may be known for rockets, Starlink satellites, and missions to Mars, but Morgan Stanley believes the company's next trillion-dollar opportunity isn't in space, it's in artificial intelligence. SpaceX has had a rough few weeks on the stock market. After soaring following its public listing, the stock has tumbled nearly 50% from its mid-June peak of over $225, closing around $113.50. At one point during trading, it even slipped below $109, marking a record low. The investment bank says that based on its valuation model, if SpaceX's share price drops to around $100, investors would effectively be assigning no value at all to its AI business. In other words, investors would only be paying for SpaceX's existing space operations while completely ignoring its artificial intelligence ambitions. So why does Morgan Stanley think that's a mistake? Because SpaceX isn't just a rocket company anymore. Through Starlink satellites, launch missions, and space operations, it generates massive amounts of real-time data. Morgan Stanley believes this data could power AI applications in autonomous spacecraft, defense systems, satellite communications, and robotics, making AI one of SpaceX's biggest long-term growth engines. The analysts argue that the recent sell-off has made investors overly focused on short-term concerns, while overlooking the enormous potential of SpaceX's AI ecosystem. That's why Morgan Stanley still sees the current weakness as a buying opportunity. According to the bank, today's valuation largely reflects SpaceX's traditional space business, but gives little or no credit to what its AI business could eventually become.
That's all for this week. I will see you in the next. Keep watching ET Now for more such news and views. Till then.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.